Alrighty, amazing. Well, hello, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to UBC Camp's Play and Learn at Home live stream. My name is Sarah, and today we are going to be exploring artificial intelligence, which I'm super excited about. Before we get started today, though, I just want to share a few housekeeping notes with you all. So for our live stream today, all participant video and audio should be turned off. If you or your caregivers have a question at any point during our stream, please use the chat function and one of our moderators will respond to you as soon as possible. Please ensure you are using camp appropriate, respectful language at all times. So luckily for us today, we do not have any safety notes because we will only be using our computers. However, before we get going, it would be really helpful if you or your caregiver could just create sort of a split screen setup on your laptops before we get going. And what I mean by this is if you could have Zoom take up one part of your screen and then have your browser, a web browser, take up the other half of your screen, that would be great. On our web browser, if you didn't get the link already, we're going to go to www.teachablemachine.withgoogle.com. I know it's a mouthful. One of our moderators is going to put it in the chat though, so you can just click on that link and just make sure that's what you have up in your browser. I'll give you all just a few seconds to get that set up now. You aren't going to need that right away, but just for when we jump into that portion of the activity, if it's set up there, it will make your lives and my life much easier, which is great. All right, so it seems that nobody is having any issues, so we're going to get going onto the fun stuff. While I start explaining our topic today, you can keep going with the setup. No worries at all. Okay, so like I said, my name is Sarah, and I work for an organization out of UBC called Gearing Up. And at Gearing Up, our main goal is to inspire youth like all of you in science, technology, engineering, and math. And you may know this as STEM. And I am particularly interested in the T part of STEM because in university, I studied computer science. And my favorite thing about computer science is that I get to learn about computers and technology and use them to solve problems that make our world better. And I'm all about making the world better. I think it's great. And so I love that I get to be passionate about something and use one of my passions to make the world better, which is great. So today we are going to talk about one amazing thing in computer science. There's many, but one that is called artificial intelligence, or AI, as you may know it before. So before we talk about what AI is, I'm curious about where you all have seen or experienced AI. What do you think of when you hear the term AI? And if you never heard that term, that's okay. By the end of this stream, hopefully you're all gonna know exactly what that is and also where you have seen it every day, because I bet you all have experienced it before. So have any of you ever encountered a smart home before? Like Alexa, or maybe you have Touch ID on yours or your parents' iPhone? Or has anybody used Snapchat before and has like a filter on Snapchat? Maybe facial recognition. I know some computers nowadays have like, or iPhones too, in order to get into them, you have to like do a little face or retina scan, which is just crazy. But those are all examples of artificial intelligence. Another great example is TikTok. Yes, TikTok, you can, all those filters and things that they have on TikTok, those are all examples of artificial intelligence. So what's the definition of artificial intelligence? So artificial intelligence is when technology mimics human behavior. So when technology behaves like you or me, that is what artificial intelligence is. So one behavior that we all have as humans is that we can learn, right? So we learn in many different ways, but we all do it no matter how old we are. So we learn at school. That's probably where you all learn most of the time. You also learn at home. As we get older, so for me, for right now, I learn a lot while I'm at work. I also learn a lot from the different youth that I work with. So my question to you all is, do you think that a computer could learn? Could we teach a computer? Do you think we need like a chalkboard and like to teach our computer a lesson? Or maybe we need to do a bunch of times tables and do little tricks so that we remember, so it can learn its timetables. I want you all to take a second to make a guess, okay? Take a guess as to whether or not you think a computer can learn. And we're gonna get back to this question a little bit later. So I asked you all to bring with you about 5 to 10 miscellaneous objects. And together we're gonna go through a really quick but really fun activity that you can do right now with me. You can also do it with your friends, your parents, your siblings. I think it's super fun, and we're gonna try it out. So what I want you to do is I want you to put your objects in front of you. Okay, you can't see my objects, but I will hold them up so that you can see them eventually. And I want you to close your eyes. I'm gonna close, well, I'm not gonna close my eyes, but you close your eyes, and mix your objects up a bit. And I want you to pick up one of your objects at random, okay? So I'm gonna pick up one of my objects, okay? And what I want you to do is I want you to think about how you know what that object is, okay? So right now I'm holding my object and I have my eyes closed and I'm kind of feeling it and I'm thinking about how do I know what this object is, right? So for me, I am feeling this kind of remote thing with some buttons on it. It's small, it's kind of got this like key feeling to it. It's a little bit sharp on the edge. And so all these different things about this object would make me think that it is a car key. Okay, so those are some of the thought processes I had. Now we're gonna do this, and again, I'm gonna try a different one of my objects. This time I'm actually gonna close my eyes and kind of go through the thought process so you can see. So I close my eyes, I'm gonna mix my objects up, and this is the one that I have picked. Okay, it is a little bit soft, kind of got a silky feeling, and it's kind of got like this band inside. It's stretchy and it's in a circle. So all of these things about this object make me think that it's a hair tie or like a hair scrunchie. And I'm right? Those are all those things that I thought about. So with your different objects, I want you to do the same thing. I want you to take some time, close your eyes, mix them up, and kind of just feel them and touch them and think about, how do I know what this object is with my eyes closed? I can't see it. I don't necessarily know, but what about it? What about how it feels makes me know what it is? So we're gonna break this down a little bit. As you're doing that, I'm gonna talk. You can listen to my voice. Essentially what we are doing is we are taking in input through our touch. So when we touch our objects, that is the input that we're giving our brain. So we're saying, this is what this feels like, okay? And then once we've gotten that input into our brains do a whole bunch of processing, does a bunch of thinking about what we're feeling. And we may be comparing it to things that we have felt before or other things we have seen before. So for example, for my car key, I have seen a bunch of car keys before. I've seen them, I've felt them, I know what they look like. So that really helps my brain when it's trying to process and know what this object is. So through this thinking process that our brain does, we determine what our object is, and that is our output. So when I say, ah, it's a key, or ah, it's a scrunchie, that is my output. I've determined what my object is. And believe it or not, computers perform a very similar process when they receive an input. Okay, so computers also take in an input. And what kinds of ways do our computers take input? How do I give my, does my computer have hands? Does it have ears? So our computers take input through sound sometimes. They take it through our keyboards, or if you have a mouse, images also we can upload to our computer. And then they process that input and provide an output. So that's super cool to me that computers actually act really similarly to humans. The way their brains work, the way their processing works, it's really similar to us. And it kind of makes sense, right? Like computers, humans designed computers, we created them. So it makes sense that we would create them to do similar things to us, right? So knowing a little bit more about how a computer behaves, we are going to see if we can mimic this same action we just did, but on a computer. So we are going to see if the computer can learn to identify our objects, okay? So this is really crazy. Our laptops don't have hands. So instead of using touch, we are going to be using another sense. We're going to be using sight, and we're going to be providing our computer with images. Now, it's important to note that some computers can take touch for input. So some of the really fancy computers you see now, they can, like if we touch them, they'll respond. I don't have one of those computers, unfortunately, but most of our personal laptops cannot. So we're not going to be doing that today. So if we were to take a look at a bunch of images, how would we classify images of our random objects? So if I took a picture of my scrunchie and my sunglasses, I have some cool sunglasses, okay, and then I took a picture of my car key, how would I be able to distinguish those objects? How do we know the difference? And one answer to this question is that we've seen these items before and many variations of them. I've seen tons of sunglasses before. Some of them look like this. Some of them are like, you can see blue sunglasses now. Like there's some crazy sunglass designs out there, okay? So I've seen tons of them. And I'm pretty sure that I'm certain what sunglasses are and aren't. So if you showed me an image of a car key and you told me that it was a pair of sunglasses, I would say that you're lying to me, that you do not know what a pair of sunglasses are. So I want us to remember this example while we go on to our Teachable Machine, okay? So in your browser, we have something called Teachable Machine, and we are going to use this application to teach our computers our different objects through images, just like we did with our hands, okay? And I'm gonna share my screen with you at this point. It might take me a second to get it all set up. And we're gonna step through this together. I'm gonna show you how this amazing application works, okay? So here we go. Alrighty, so this is Teachable Machine. Hopefully you can see it all okay. I think you can. Okay, so this is what your screen should look like right now. Okay, and what we're gonna do is we are gonna create a new image project, okay? So I want you guys to all click image project, and it should take you to this screen right here, okay? So the first step in teaching our computer is that we need to gather a bunch of information, okay? So we need to essentially give our computer all of that knowledge, right? So like I said, I've seen so many pairs of sunglasses before. So that's how I know what a pair of sunglasses is and what one isn't. So that's the knowledge that I want to give to the computer. So I am going to name my first object sunglasses, okay? You can change the names of your objects to the objects that you have in front of you, but I'm going to do sunglasses, and I'm going to do scrunchie. And this is what I'm going to start with. We're going to start off with 2, and then if we have time, we can add another, And if not, you can always keep doing this afterwards. It is a really cool application, okay? So I've named my objects and now I actually have to give it that data, okay? So I'm going to click the webcam, okay? There was an error on my webcam, fantastic. Okay, if you're not experiencing this problem, this was working for me before and it's not right now. But if your webcam is actually opening, what I want you to do is you're gonna put your object, I hope you can see my face also in the bit of your screen. You're gonna put your object in front of your webcam and you're kind of gonna move it around and you're gonna click the button that captures the images and you're gonna give it a bunch of data, okay? And then you're gonna do the same thing with your other object, okay? So you take your scrunchie or whatever other object you have, and on its setting down here, you would do the same thing, webcam, and you would record your scrunchie, okay? So I'm gonna quickly take a second and try to get mine working. But in the meantime, you can do the same thing on yours, okay? I apologize for my lovely difficulties. I think it has something to do with Zoom. So I might just stop screen sharing for a second. Let's try this again. Okay, so instead I'm just going to tell you how to do it so that you can do it at home, because you don't necessarily need to see mine in order to do it. So that's okay. All right, so on your left-hand side of the screen, you should have your objects, which you've named. So I have scrunchie, and I have, I'm spelling scrunchie wrong. And I have sunglasses. Okay, and you would have recorded your different objects through your webcam so that you were giving it a bunch of images, okay? And the next thing that you're going to do and that we have to do in order to teach our computer is we need to do something called train it. So that's the next step you see over here. You're gonna click this little button that says train model, okay? And this might take a couple minutes and that's okay. Because what essentially our computer needs to do is it needs to analyze all of those images. It needs to find the things that all those images have in common and differentiate it with, for example, like what's the difference between this and this, right? So things we might notice is their color. This is obviously, my sunglasses are hard. This is soft. And although the computer can't feel that, it can look at its shape, okay? And so it's going to do all of that thinking, all of that processing, all of that analyzing, okay? And after your image is trained, once it's good to go, you should get a little pop-up in this preview part here where you actually can put the objects in front of your webcam and it will tell you which object you have. I just see there's a little note in the chat, so let me just see. Oh my goodness, I see that someone has it working and that's amazing, okay? That makes me super happy. So that's great. So essentially, that last step there is the process of testing our model. So we have given our model data, we have trained it, the computer has analyzed it, it's processed all that information. And then the last thing we want to do is in that preview, we want to test the model. So we want to see if our computer's smart, if it's right, okay? So is it actually identifying my scrunchie? Is it identifying my sunglasses or is it not? Which is super cool. And if it's not working, then we want to give it some more data. So if it's like, hey, Sarah, your scrunchie is a pair of sunglasses. No, computer, you're wrong. I'm going to give you some more data so that you can improve. Okay, and that's kind of, it's cool because that's how we think too. When we get things wrong, like for example, in school, or at work, we try to get more data so that we can learn to be better, right? We don't just give up, and neither does our computer, right? We just want to teach it some more. All right, so I'm going to end my share. you can let me know if that worked out for you. I really hope it did. If it didn't, no worries. You can keep practicing on that web browser afterwards as well. So like I promised at the beginning of our stream, you all just taught your machine. And it may seem simple that you just taught your machine how to identify objects, but that's basically how, like, Touch ID and facial recognition, that is how those really cool pieces of technology work. And yes, they may be a little bit more complex in their algorithms, but you all just did the basics of artificial intelligence, which is just like, I don't know, I think it's just the coolest thing ever. And so I hope you guys really enjoyed it too. So this is because your computer just mimicked the way that we learn. And so this website was made by Google. It's really awesome and has other applications that you can explore. So you can do similar things with like your body. You can upload images. And so I really encourage, you can do like sound and stuff too. I really encourage you all to explore it because it is a really cool way to learn about how artificial intelligence works. So unfortunately, that's it for today. So join UBC camps again on Monday, June 8th from 11 to 11:30 a.m. for children's ages 6 to 8 to liven up your windows with the colors of summertime in an easy stained glass window art project. That sounds so fun. My windows definitely need to be livened up a little bit. This session has also been recorded and it will be posted on the UBC Camps YouTube channel. So feel free to share your experience online by tagging at UBC Camps on Instagram and UBC Camps on Facebook. You can use the hashtag UBC PlayLearn. Also, if you liked this video and want to check out more STEM activities that you can try at home, feel free to visit Gearing Up on YouTube. I will be over there. Every now and then I pop on for a little stream. My coworkers also are really awesome. We do daily live streams at 11 a.m. You can also check out our website at gearinguponline.ca for more information on all of our STEM programming. But thank you all so much for joining me today. I had so much fun, and I hope you all get to play around with Teachable Machine a little bit longer and learn something. All right, take care, everybody.